wins, they say, don't they? So we'll just have to see what happens. But meanwhile, good planning from Dan Sanger here, actually. He's got somebody who he's been very close to in the practice sessions right next to him in Seb Hutchinson now. Seb Hutchinson is a lap down, but well, he was very, very close to him.
It looks like Sanger's coming back in again. He's changing fuel and repairing. Why he wouldn't have done that before, I don't know. But he's back in the pits. I don't know what this is all about. I mean, his tires look fine too. I don't really understand that either. I'm with Phil. I'm with Phil on that. If you can run these tires out, you need to do it. It's a huge advantage.
According to little shouts and little whistles in my ear, he didn't change all 4 tyres. So Dan Sanger now falling to the very back of the pack. Although that does...
Well, at least he did repair damage. At least he's got that going for him. But as me and Phil have said multiple times now, I really thought those tires were going to make it. So, he's going to have hot tires now for 30, 40 laps. So, could pay off, though. You never know. There's always an issue with them getting too cool at the end of the run as well. So.
Yep, well, the safety car comes in now, and that means that Mike Sadle's gamble, will it pay off? We'll find out very, very shortly as he comes around turn 1. Dan Sanger does make it to the back of the field. And Mike Sadler with an absolutely terrific restart. Look at that!
That's how it's done. That's how it's done right there. That was perfect. It's simple. You just put it in gear and you hit the gas and you're gone.
Yeah, but a terrific restart there. Meanwhile, we're going 3 wide through turn 1 as well.
If Sadle is to get lucky with his tire and fuel, however that works out, I mean, this is a really good opportunity for him right now because he does have the back markers behind him. And it looks like 2 of them have broken away from Blauhoff, so in reference to leading the race from here on out, he should be in a real good position here. It's just like we've been talking about, the fuel, the tires, how everything else plays out that's going to really decide how he ends up in this race. I think he's obviously got the pace, but just, I don't know. We'll find out here shortly.
Yeah, meanwhile, William Blauhoff, excuse the yawn there, William Blauhoff trying to use Steve Martin, who is a lap or 2 behind now, to catch up to the back of Mike Sadle. But Mike Sadle, on his gamble, is flying away now.
Another thing to bring up about that me and Phil were just discussing is that even if he does get lucky and gets that caution, if everybody else is good on fuel, he's still behind those drivers. Because if he has to pit under caution, those guys instantly, are in front of him because they don't have to pit. So it's a gamble, to say the least. I think Blauhoff stayed out as well. Phil, you might have to give me some input on that. But I think him and Blauhoff were the only 2 on the lead lap that stayed out. Maybe Kukash.
Yeah, well, speaking of Kukash, he's now up in the top 3 or 4 and this is probably the group. This is one big gaggle of cars that have been the scariest cars that I've seen throughout the entire practice season. And Cake Paroppo's lag there, giving him contact with Tormala, and then no contact anymore with Tormala, and he's now on the back of he's got Lamoth and Chevy behind him, and this is turning into the scariest gaggle of cars I've seen all race. Oh, and contact between Oscar Hardwick and Claudius Cassiunas, but they survive.
This gaggle of cars is insane. They're just they're not getting into order because they're all they're out of order in the first place. There's a few lapped cars in the middle.
Oscar Hardwick.
Wow, I don't know how either of them got away. On my screen, Hardwick actually drove through the concrete wall and continued.
And
that was extremely close. Yeah. Oh, well, okay, shut up. Yep, sorry, I just saw a big crash there, but that was loud. Carry on. Okay, it's really embarrassing. I get really embarrassed when that happens. Apologies for causing anyone a heart attack. Yeah, former race leader Dan Sanger, long-time leader of this race, is sitting back in 14th. It's incredibly risky for him to try and get past this group of cars because we've already seen the evidence that they're kind of more unpredictable. Oh, he's trying to go up the middle of Antica Millennium. Oh, it's gone wrong! Sanger is spinning, and he's the only one who's actually come out of that spinning. The others have carried on going. Sanger took the risk, like I said, and unfortunately didn't pay off. Like I said, it might not. So another caution for 6th of the day. I don't believe it. Yep, it happened once again. He just got too much of a draft. He had really no choice but to try and get past those guys because he had so much draft. He didn't want to waste it, and he tried to go through the middle. I mean, in hindsight, probably not the greatest thing to do, but he's still on the lead lap. He can have another go, but still, he's now even further down than he was before. He's now 16th.
Yeah, and the position he was in
to be
earlier in the
honest,
race had probably been a lot safer, but yeah, that was just, it was too tight there on the bottom. The guy came up a little too high for him and squeezed out.
And to be honest as well, it was quite, to be honest, I mean, okay, so Dan did have a bit of a torrid time there, but it was a very sterile end to what was going to be a very, very scary accident if it kept going.
Oh, of course. Last year that would have been a 10-car pile-up. This year you see everyone get out safe. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that no one else spun, yeah, I'm amazed. I mean, Dan had no choice but to spin. It was impossible to save. Everyone else did an amazing job to keep their cars going in a straight line. No one hit him. And we continue, I mean, with a caution, but with everyone still in the race. Well, not everyone, but everyone who was, yeah. Anyway, no damage for Sanger as well.
Yep. Race leader, Mike Little in the pits.
As well as Blauhoff and Randy Young and Sutton as well. And Stenek Kagash.
And Dan Sanger gets a driving penalty.
Wow. Yep.
No, with that... oh yeah, it was speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah. And here's an interesting scenario
exactly
as well. Because of the pit stops, that means that Steve Martin, Sebastian Hutchinson and Donald Leake will all get their lap back, and McCarran will get back on the safety car. So a great bit of fortune there for Hutchinson, Donnelly and Martin.
Just looking at the leaders that did pit there, it looks like Kagash was the only one that did not change tires. So I think he changed earlier in the race, but still he's got plenty of tread. I think that's going to pay off.
Interesting here that Dan Sanger's had his penalty cleared. I don't know if anyone can explain why that is the case. If it's going to be
at the end of the line.
Penalty is being cleared, and he will have to start off the end of the line.
Okay, so he won't lose a lap, which is nice. And he's actually, as a result, he's actually coming out in a better position than what he came in as well. Oh no, he has to start at the end of the line. I should really listen to what people say before I start talking. But yeah, even so, it's better than what it could have been. He could have been a lap down after that.
Very true.
Alright, this is the time people should start saving fuel, since we're almost halfway. And Mike Sadel, I think that's actually why he stayed out and pit now, because now he can make it maybe on one more pit stop, depending upon how the cautions fly.
Yep, so Dan Sanger now being directed to go to the back of the line. So now new leader McCarran will take the green flag next. And
So, lap 133 of 270, our 6th caution of the day. Nick Maheron is the leader of the race, followed by Lindsay Chevy and JJ Weng. The topsy-turvy race. Yet another leader after this, after another round of pit stops. We're just about. This safety car will probably come in. Yeah, it will. We'll go racing at exactly half distance. So this race has been going for about an hour and a half since the green flag flew. So I'd say if we'll probably be done another hour and a half, I guess. All being good, yep. Maybe even less than 1.5 hours. And it will be, if it ends up like that, that'll be the quickest race we've ever had in the Kyoto 500.
well, we are just a bit short of the usual schedule, aren't we? So then McCarran closes on to the cones in turn 3. Now he has the power to go when he pleases. Oh, and he's gone. Oh, and Hutchinson though can't use his run. But yeah, that restart really has spaced everything out there in the back. I was nearly going to be waved off in my ear. People yelling at me to wave it off, but it wasn't waved off. A bit of concertina effect there. but a very good restart for McCarron as he holds his lead.
I don't imagine they were shouting at you to wave it off, because you can't do that. Don't get all power crazy.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, we have to try and decipher what you're saying most of the time.
Yeah, meanwhile, one of the big pairs to watch is going to be Hutchinson and Sanger right now, who've been absolutely amazing on the in the practice races this year and in drafting.
Yeah, they've jumped up quite a long way. Hutchinson getting a warning for bumping. Not allowed to do that in these cars. And those guys now in 16th position. Sanger and Hutchinson working their way up. They both had accidents today. Hutchinson's had 2 major crashes. Sanger's had a spin, but they're both in the same area of the track as each other, and in a good chance of getting up further in the pack. Nick McCarron has a gigantic lead, but it will surely be closed down by Chebby and Wang very soon, as those guys cooperate in 2nd and 3rd positions.
Can I just add that this is the strangest top 6 I've ever seen in my entire life.
I didn't want to say that, but I thought exactly the same. We can go all the way back to 7th, actually.
Well, if we make in the top 6, let's say what it is. It's Nick McCarron from Iron Horse Racing, Lid Chevy, JJ Wang, 4th is Leanne Solfrank, 5th is Oscar Hardwick, and 6th is Ori Antica, followed by Nathan Lamont very closely. And then those guys all sort of switching positions every so often, but that is your top 6. And yeah, it's quite unusual, but we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're watching Mike Sadle. We're watching Mike Sadle and Mike Sadle trying to get back up the field with his group of Tiger Express buddies, and a bit of Raymond Blauhoff as well.
Yeah, his teammate Engel is going to try and help him, but he's at the back of this 4-way draft, and not able to help him yet. And Jan Laprovot, their teammate in Iron Horse? No. An animal of some kind,
Express.
but not horse.
Tiger
Yeah,
Express.
Tiger Express. Not a horse. Yeah, those guys are trying to work together. Now they are, side nose to tail. We now have a 3-way.
Yeah, I believe Wilco saw that too. It looks like Sadle got hit in the rear a little bit there. Like a gash.
It got a bit rough behind. Donalik smacked the wall on the entry to turn 3, the final corner, and he got a bit of damage and fell away a slight amount, and he is now around the 12th, 13th area. The leaders, a 3-way draft for the lead now. Nick McCarron fell back into the clutches of Wang and Chevy, but he's still there, trying to continue the draft.
Yep, and I think this is right now. JJ Wang will be sitting in his little orifice where his steering wheel is, thinking to himself, "This is the perfect opportunity to break his duck."
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't think he's sitting in an orifice though. I don't think you might have got the wrong word. House, room maybe, but no, not orifice. But yeah, I think this is a really good. This is the best performance we've seen from him in quite a long time, and he'll be feeling pretty good. But still a long way to go. We only just had half distance. We're on lap 144 of 270, and many things can happen between now and then, as you all know.
Yes, I can, and one of the things that's already happened is that Dan Sanger and Seb Hutchinson are already up into 12th place.
It's like the dream team, really.
Yeah, they're drafting away with Tormler and Engel, really now fighting through the field once more. And they're showing the form that they showed in the practice sessions right now.
Let's not forget the black car. The leader of this now is of this battle is Dan Sanger, who is the pole position sitter. So he'll feel like he has something to prove. I mean, yeah, he's trying to get back up to the lead where he feels he should rightly be. And Seb Hutchinson's had a adventurous race, as we've said, and he'll want to get back up to the front, cause a bit more trouble maybe. Try and get past a few more people.
Yeah,
just a little bit further up from Sanger's. Just a little bit further up from Sanger is Sadel, and he is in a group of cars right now that must be making his hair stand up on the back of his neck, because he has been grouped up in this group, being banged in the side by Kagash and some of these other guys.
Oh, but he backed into the side of Raymond Blauhoff!
Exactly. This has been going on non-stop for the last 5 laps, and I'm just waiting for something to happen here. And if Sanger and Hutchinson get up there, it's going to be bad news, because they are going to be flying.
Yeah, well, Mike Siddle will hopefully be trying to break out of this gaggle here, as well as Raymond Blauhoff as well. Raymond Blauhoff squeezing down on Cassie Eunice, as I finally get his name right, I think. I probably didn't. That's not the point. Mike Siddle turning down! Use your mirrors, like my good friend. Oh, and Donnelly got a big wiggle on!
A payback.
I hope it's not Payback. Payback's never good in this kind of a race. But look, Sanger and Seb Hutchinson are right up to this battle now. And Sadel, second place starter, now being chased down by the pole sitter. And Seb Hutchinson is behind him as well. It's got a bit interesting for Sadel here. Very rough racing. I wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Palmer was shouting them saying, "Calm down!" Because they need to calm down.
Yes, they do. And now Donnelly gives a big obstacle for Hutchinson and Sanger, as well as Raymond Blauhoff, and but now look, Seb Hutchinson holding Blauhoff and the rest of them high, letting his team, well, that's his teammate, his drafting partner, get his toe, and try to drop them, and they've almost gone and done it already.
I don't know if anyone else just saw that. I just saw a big plume of white smoke coming from, I think it was Sadel's front and right tyre, but it's stopped now. And maybe we just a glitch, but either way his tyres are looking pretty hot. Laprovot's holding a yellow flag, he's spun.
He's on the grass on the inside of the corner. Oh, and contact between Sanger and Blauhoff as well. Safety car is on standby.
What is Jan doing here? He's trying to get back on the track via the banking. This could be real dangerous. Looks like he's going to have time to get out in front, but my
tires are hot.
Woo!
Just be careful, his right rear tire is very hot.
Yeah, when he tries to go through turn 4, he's going to have problems. Turn 3 even. Let's hope he just manages to realise that. Oh god, he's on a knife edge in the wall! Nearly! Oh, Jan, don't do this to me.
Well, that track re-entry right there was not safe at all. Oh man, I'd like to elaborate on that more, but that's all I can say about it. It was just pretty stupid.
I was looking on the mini-map, and he was looking pretty perpendicular to the road for a lot of the time, so yeah, it didn't look too safe.
Meanwhile, it looks like Hutchinson and Sanger have dropped the cars behind them. Oh, but Hutchinson! Safety car is out. What's happened?
Is this a late decision, or are they thinking Lambat Pravot's car is? Oh, he drove into the.
Yeah, I saw. It looks like he might have lost control and slid into the pit lane there. I don't know if he was trying to pit or what, but all I saw was a big plume of smoke and him driving through a barrier into the pit lane. Not through a barrier, but through one of the poles. So that was probably what caused that.
Yeah, that figures.
Oh, big concertina effect! That's Piropo! Piropo is flying!
Gas Eunice and Piropo there. Oh, and Gas Eunice, look at that car. He's got a broken right front shock. Left front's almost gone. He's going to have to come in and repair now. There's no choice.
Oh, and Gas Eunice trailing along the ground as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage on that car.
Yeah, look at that nose. It looks more like an Indy car, actually. We should keep them.
Okay, so let's just to remind you of what's just been going on. So we had a spin for Jan Laprovot, whose tyres were completely toasted after his, and Piropo's retired there after the accident under safety car. Yeah, Laprovot had a spin, the tyres were hot, and ended up spinning into the pit lane, bringing out the pace car, bringing out a caution, and then Gasunas and Piropo had a collision of some kind. There was a concertina effect. Yeah, he has. And yeah, there was a big collision, and Gasuna's car is pretty much wrecked right now. And yeah, JJ Wang is currently the leader. Nick McCarran second, and Oscar Hardwick in third.
Yes, and a very interesting view there for Claudius Gasunas sitting in his cockpit. The fact that half of his car has kind of disappeared a little. But he will now have to pull in the pit lane if he can turn that way. Oh, he's struggling to get in, actually nearly hitting the bales on the...
So yeah, that was more that he was again as well. Now he's probably thinking here that if he gets in, fuels up, that he might be good to get to the end, which it should be extremely close. I think he should make it, especially if we get a caution or two. So this could be a smart move.
Oh, McCarran just disconnected.
Oh, what? He was second position. He was in second and he's disconnected. Like, that's a manual disconnect. Why would he have done that? I guess some kind of real life.
He joined the spectators.
Thing's taken over. Yeah. Did he spin?
No idea.
We'll try and get some word on what happened there, or maybe it was just something he had to get up in real life. Maybe answer the door, answer the phone, or I don't know.
Yeah, well, that promotes Oscar Hardwick of all people up into second place. And lifts Chevy up to third, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
Oscar Hardwick in the middle of his GCSEs at the moment, taking time out to do this race. GCSEs being the 16-year-old major exams for those of us in the UK.
Yes.
I'm going to switch the conversation to strategy.
One lap
here for
to
just a
go
second.
before Timo Hinian pulls into the pit, I would assume, which means that we'll be 2 laps away from JJ Wang hitting that gas pedal. I don't believe I just said gas pedal rather than throttle, and getting underway once more for another green flag run. Meanwhile, I've heard from our Mr. Statsman that the average speed of the first half of the race was 148.7616 miles per hour.
Speaking of statistics here, I was just looking at Seidel and coming in on that pit stop. If you use the fuel suggested by Live for Speed in the pit window, which is I believe 0.9 from my sources, right now if the race goes green, Seidel will have to use 105% of fuel. Obviously we're probably going to have a caution, so he should be good. Now this strategy that we were talking about being a gamble early on, this looks like it's going to pan out perfect. I mean, it's absolutely perfect on fuel. So he's in great shape. Probably the best position of any driver on the track right now.
Yeah, definitely going to try and keep an eye on him then, because he obviously started second and he's been up there. He was up there quite a lot at the beginning of the race. Just fell back further down, just occasionally to a different strategy, but has he worked some kind of genius here, like Nolan is saying? Has he got some kind of magic strategy? He needs a few more laps of caution to happen later in the race, but this could work out well. Just a reminder, you're watching the 2010 Kyoto 500 with me, Michael Passingham, Chris Wilkinson, Nolan Scott and Phil Diaz in the commentary box for you here. We're on lap 155.
And when
JJ Wang is our leader, and away he goes. See, that was a good predictable restart from Wang there. No nonsense, straight away on the throttle. Very good.
Yes, it was, and it's his teammate, as a matter of fact, Oscar Hardwick of Epic Racing, who's going to pick up his draft as well. So I'm fairly sure that in Ventrilo, or in some sort of team contact system that they've got, he would have been counting down to go, and now this has given these two a good opportunity to try and drive away from the field.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure, as the two former core racing drivers in the commentary box with us here will confirm, it's probably a very nice feeling to have your teammate behind you when you're 1-2 in the race.
Oh God, yes. That's our pretty much goal all race long, is to get together, pair up, and do what we can together, and try to get away from everybody else. I mean, the further you are away from everybody else, in my opinion, the safer you're going to be when you're around your teammates. So.
Yep,
Sure,
and
meanwhile,
our men to watch, Seb Hutchinson and Dan Sanger, are now up into the trail group. Seb Hutchinson about to take third place, and Dan Sanger about to take fourth as well, as he slips down the inside of Leanne Solfrank as well, trying to. That's not, squeezing, holding him on the pit wall is Leanne Solfrank.
Oh, Chevy got distracted. He just drove into the wall through the kink past the Savage. I think he was looking at the battle ahead like I was. I was sort of riding on board with him, watching the battle, and he just drove into the wall. Driver error, lack of concentration. As this battle ahead continues, with Kagash at the head of it, Leanne Solfrank is second in the battle, fourth in the race. Lamont behind, Sanger and Hutchinson are still trying to work their way past. They got past initially, but fell back behind with the drafting.
Yeah, Lamont holding Leanne Solfrank high, two teammates, I'm fairly sure they are anyway. Hutchinson holding Lamont high. And now Hutchinson and Sanger run side by side. Hutchinson's going to now try and chop that down, and then try and drop them, this pair, but they can't do it. They've dropped Nathan Lamont, I think, as he gets a warning for lack of spatial awareness. Hutchinson nearly turning down on Solfrank as well.
Yeah, Lamont is out of this battle. Kagash now at the head, third position. And Hutchinson nearly losing control. I'm kind of struggling to watch this battle because I have a massive amount of lag going on right now, but I can see the positions of the cars and they are really, really pushing it.
Yes, they are, and this gaggle obviously trying and just sort themselves out to try and start catching Oscar Hardwick and JJ Wang. But it seems like they've nearly dropped in a Kagash as well. They have done, in fact. So is that the contact between Solfrank and Hutchinson? That was all part of Sanger and Hutchinson's plan to try and drop them, I think, trying to hold Leanne high, but she was having absolutely none of it.
Pretty sure she is way smarter than Danica Patrick.
We made I don't know if we briefly made a comparison in the 250 as well with Danica Patrick, but I guess she is the main comparison when you have a female racer in a predominantly male sport that is motor racing, and someone who's driving at the highest level, at least a very high level in LFS. You've got to make the comparisons with NASCAR driver, is it at the moment, Danica Patrick?
Oh, she's doing absolutely anything right now, isn't she?
But she's still running IRL, but yeah, if what you mean not doing anything by not performing pretty much this season, she's had a rough year.
Yeah, I dig you, man. Anyway,
That was that wasn't Nolan Scott just talking, by the way. That was Chris Wilkinson with his incredible southern drawl there. Very nice. We all enjoyed that very much.
You call that nice? Come on now.
So,
Can't compete. Can't compete.
I guess it's kind of off topic, but I'll just mention it. My flatmate, who I lived with last year at university, she heard. I think she heard when I was interviewing Nolan Scott. Oh, not Scott Hardwick!
Oh, Nathan had the puncture!
And Nathan had the puncture. The main thing here is that Oscar Hardwick timed out. Yeah, from the lead or / second position, he was battling for the lead. That is absolutely appalling luck. He was driving so much. He was punching above his weight. He was doing a great job, and it's all over for him. That's really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're looking at
weird. It's all black.
I don't think it's actually punctured.
What? Oh, yeah,
It is though, it is flat, because if you look at him driving now, there's a lot of flex in that tyre. The front right is unbelievably hot as well, and he's being black flagged. He has to come in and change that.
Yeah, you're exactly
It's
right.
weird.
It is flat.
Isn't it the same problem that the Fragmaster guy had last year? His left front tire popped and he kept driving?
Yeah, I remember that. He did, and it was quite easy. It wasn't too hard for him because the left front is better to deal with. Carry on, Chris.
Meanwhile, Dan Sanger and Seb Hutchinson are battling for the lead with JJ Wang.
But yeah, this is a three-way battle for the lead going on right now. Seb Hutchinson, JJ Wang, and Dan Sanger, not in that order, battling for the lead. Well, what can you say? Dan Sanger and Seb Hutchinson have done a great job working together from the very back to the very front after their separate incidents. It's been quite a drive. Lap 167, we are just starting of 270 laps in this race.
The thing about this, though, is that the longer the green flag run, the less likely they can make it all the way without pitting. Mike Stadel, however, can probably make it thanks to the draft and stuff like that. He can make it the whole way.
Singer Hutchinson here appear to be trying to break away from Jay Wang pretty hard. They really want to get away. I've been watching some stuff, especially down in T1 and T2. This is a great chance for him to try to do it. Singer's going to hold high usually. No, he didn't do it that time. Usually a late break there can break off the drafter, but he didn't do it that time.
Yeah, I guess Sanger and Hutchinson have worked so well together to get here. Maybe they just want to continue being. It's timed out. The one guy who had a different than normal strategy. Yeah, he had a good chance here of being a bit of a dark horse, and now it's all over for him. That's so unfortunate. Another timeout for another driver who we really thought could do well here. Mike Sadel out of the race.
Yeah, but now here we go. I think Hutchinson and Sanger may have done it now.
Yeah, you're right. I think Wang just unable to keep the pace. He briefly led for quite a while actually, I say. But yeah, he has fallen back into the clutches of Solfrank, Kagash, and the like.
Yeah,
maybe he's going to work with them instead.
Now Hutchinson and Sanger, their main job now is to just get away from this field. So then, joining us in the commentary box now is race director Jonathan Palmer. And Jonathan, it's been quite a clean race so far, hasn't it?
Surprisingly, yes. And sorry, it may be a little hard for me to hear because I still have all the radios going from everything else. I'm listening to pretty much everything going on here. But yeah, it's been a good race so far. Hopefully you've all been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's been a real good race. So much green flag running. I'm really impressed. I think whatever you did this year to the drivers, whatever you said to them, it's really done a good job. I mean, there's been some pretty edgy driving, but I think it's been really good. I guess you feel the same.
I think part of what did it is I told some people that if this race ended up like the 250 did, I would leave LFS, and I think that may have scared enough people into behaving.
That would scare me.
Possibly.
But yeah, it's definitely not done that. I don't think there's any chance of it turning into the 250 either. Well, you have 98 laps to go. There we go. Is that right? No. Yes, 98 laps to go. Wow, I can do maths.
I think we can
What do
say. I think we can say, Johnson, that this race has been good enough that you're not going to leave, right? Go ahead and give us the go-ahead on
So
that.
far, there's no excuse yet, unless you said everything's unique too much. Then I may have to ask you to cover my cost for the string.
Yeah. Well, I've been known to say that before, but I think I've done good today.
He's been a good boy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm just.
I
hoping
was
most of the people out there don't know
amazed.
what you're talking.
It's a reference to GTL Blackwood broadcast that Nolan did. You'll have to check it out on the NDR live stream. Anyway, I was purely amazed that we had the first 18 laps completely without incident. That was perhaps the most amazing thing I have seen all Kyoto 500 season so far.
Yeah, we made strong reference to that.
Yeah, indeed. After 1.5 laps, Chris mentioned that it's the first time we've ever had a green flag first lap in the Kyoto 500, and yeah, we're all suitably impressed. The drivers have, while there have been a few incidents, overall they've had exciting driving, but yet when it's been needed, they've been careful as well. They've backed out of it a lot of the time. As the race progresses, though, it's been getting a little bit more risky, though. But especially during the first 100 laps or so, it was really good. And with 96 more laps to go, I think we can expect a lot more.
It's just going to be the nature of the race. As we get down to crunch time, you're going to see people take a little more risk, which is just the way it goes. Early in the race, you got to give more than you take, but as you go through the race, you just got to take more, or you're just going to start taking more naturally.
Do you have any money on anyone, or do you think there's one particular person who might win this race, or do you know what to say?
So I couldn't hear you over a bunch of other chat. Could you repeat that, please?
Yep. I was just saying, do you want to say who you think might win this race, or do you really not know or not want to tell us?
What am I saying?
I'm just asking, who do you think's going to win? Who's going to win the race?
Whoever completes the 270 laps fastest. That's all I'm going to say.
Typically,
Hey, he can have the fastest last lap, but that doesn't mean he won the race.
Yeah, not the
It's just whoever
270th
completes the 270
lap.
laps fastest. It's 270 because that's what LFS wants.
Okay, I thought you meant the lap 270, not 270 in total. That makes sense.
Yes. Whoever completes the distance fastest. How do you like that for a non-committal answer?
That's a lame answer. You just didn't want to jinx everyone like we have.
Yeah.
Everyone we talk about, everyone we talk about's been screwed over somehow.
Oh dear. But again, I hope everything's been going well. It's been pretty smooth. Most of the incidents have just been slight more close to a racing incident than anyone at fault, but everyone's been pretty well behaved. I haven't heard many people complaining that much through all the channels, but everyone seems to be enjoying themselves so far.
Yep, and how impressed are you with Dan Sanger from starting from pole, ending up at the back, and ending up back at the front with Seb Hutchinson? Surely that's one of the best drives I've seen in a while. Do you agree?
I'm listening to everything in all the channels, and I heard him, and he's in the same channel with Hutchinson, and he was working with him to try and lose everyone, and I could hear, like, did we lose him? Yeah, we lost him. And it's just interesting how all the drivers change things, and then the other ones that I can hear when they're actually being lost, like, oh, no, don't, I don't want to lose them. it's always interesting just seeing how all of the drivers can handle it. But now, the big thing we have to remember, we've broken one chain. We've had, this year we finally had the pole sitter take the green flag. And the other thing we got to remember is, each of the first 2 years so far, the people leading with about 30 to 40 laps to go have taken each other out with about 30 to 40 to go. So will this happen again, or will we break that chain also?
Well, now you said it, it's going to happen. But yeah, I guess maybe they could lose the rhythm, or just because obviously each lap is pretty much the same. Seb Hutchinson, I think that went right round the outside of a lapped car, nearly made contact, but they just about got away with it. I think that was a Fragmaster car actually.
Yeah, Fraser. He got loose coming out of turn, or got sideways coming out of turn 3 and was picking back up speed, and Seb, I guess he had nowhere to go other than the outside.
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to ask. What's happened to Fragmaster? These are the Oval Masters. Why are they not leading? What's happened?
3 of the FM people who qualified for the race didn't show up. Actually 4. Brandon Coleman didn't. He's getting married tomorrow, so we'll let that go. Mark Geelan showed up earlier, but timed out, and I don't know if his internet is down or not. And then, FM Benny was supposed to come, but I haven't seen him at all today. And Jack Honeycutt got moved into the field after a couple other drivers came out, and he just hasn't shown up. So we had 4 FMers no-show, and then we have these 2 that are having some sort of issues. I don't know what it is.
Yep, it's surprising, because they've always been the powerful force through all the Kyoto races, but also through all the Kyoto races they've always had a lot of retirements, because obviously there's so many of them. But last year I think only 1 or 2 of them finished the race in the end, and that provoked, there was a bunch of controversy off the road. We're not going to talk about that again. So yeah, overall so far it's been the best Kyoto 500 to date, I'd say. Not to put a jinx on it.
Yeah, I think part of what happens with the reason with the incident that we've had with the leaders, it's just been that those have each happened after a lot of green flag running. And if you have a lot of green flag running, sometimes you just lose your focus for a moment, and as we've seen the past 2 years, a moment of lost focus can cost you the win.
Yep, exactly.
And Kasunas is in the pits with a flat tire.
Oh, we've had a crash. Kagash and Donalik have hit each other coming onto the straight. Sorry, coming onto turn 1. So you might want to get back to the admin booth there, Jonathan Palmer, because that could be a caution as they get back underway again.
They're actually safe.
I'm not sure if you guys saw that on the stream because our camera controller timed out, but yes, Donalik and Kagash had a collision coming into turn 1. No caution, because they were off track mostly for the incident. They got back up to speed and it was fine. But Donalik's going to make a pit stop because of tyres. Yeah, his tyres are very hot, so he's going to change those. As far as I can yeah, we know there's 5 kilometres of wind, but I just had a little look at the flags, because I forgot to do it earlier, and the flags aren't actually blowing at all, so it's pretty hard to tell what direction the wind is, and where the headwind is, and where the tailwind is. I guess it didn't make that much difference in the end.
Yeah, if there was wind pushing you wide in turn 3, tires would be very bad, but it doesn't seem like there's a problem with that today.
Lap 186, Seb Hutchinson leads the Kyoto 500 with Dan Sanger. They're both working together to get away. JJ Weng in 3rd position, working with Leanne Solfrank. Behind them, it's Mellinger and Antika working together. So Andy Young as well is in there, but he is a lap down. Yeah, he's a lap down. Yes, he's a lap down on the leaders. And we've had another yellow flag being caused, but that's just from Donalik coming out of the pits. That's all good. So overall, the race is running pretty smoothly. The But people have spread out in groups of 2 or 3, and it's looking pretty calm right now as we head towards the final 80 laps.
Looking at the times now, you know, Sol Frank and Wang have done a good job holding on, and right now they're actually a little bit quicker per lap, about a tenth a lap the last few laps between the both of them, averaging the two. And looks like they're, you know, they've got a good pace. They could catch these guys if they keep this up.
Yeah, you can see the gap visibly coming down just a bit every lap. It remains to be seen if they'll, if the leaders will respond to that. I mean, they'll obviously be able to see them coming closer and closer, but how will they respond, or will they even be able to respond? Maybe their cars are at the limit now.
I would actually like to know who pit on the last pit stop, because whoever pit on the last pit stop is probably in the best shot right now, because they're all spread out. Doesn't look like a caution will come anytime soon. So, however long the screen flag run is, whoever pit the last time can probably make it on fuel.
Yeah, well, we're on board with the Sol Frank, and as her and JJ Wang trying to raft onto the back of the two leaders.
Yeah, and they just pulled about a tenth and a half on average to the leaders there, so we could have a four-way battle for the lead here soon if this keeps panning out.
Yeah, that gap is really coming down now. Wilkinson and Sanger don't have the pace at the moment, or yeah, I can't see any other reason for it. They don't have pace, and Wang and Sol Frank have the pace now. This is shaping up to be very good indeed. So we have two teammates, third and fourth, and then the top two drivers are working together through voice chat as JJ Wang and Sol Frank trying to JJ Wang! No way! No! That's...
Oh, there's a crash as well!
Yeah, we got
two 3 tenths. They just pulled 3
Kagash,
tenths in that last lap.
That is so upsetting, really.
The leaders were actually saving fuel. They're running around in 6th gear while drafting, so they're just saving fuel the whole time.
Ooh, Tormalon's
Okay, that
around
explains
again.
that.
He's got a flat left or right front, excuse me, and he spun twice now after the crash.
Yeah, we had it was Tomo and Kagash who caused the yellow flag and had their crash at turn 1, so that's how it's gone. But just going back, I don't think I've ever been, possibly with the exception of when Low Racing timed out at the final round of the 2008-2009 Masters of Endurance. I think this is the most disappointing I've been to see someone time out, because JJ Wang just never has the luck. He really looked like he was on for it today, really on for a good result.
Someone else is actually, I don't know if it's Chris.
We've seen a few guys time out today that I thought were in great shape to win. Wang was one, and really my pick to win the race was Sadel, and that was
exactly
away from him.
Yeah, my Sadel as well. We lost Verstrecken. He was up there as well. It seems like everyone who's timed out has been up in the lead or with a chance to lead. So overall, it's just been really depressing to see all these guys time out.
Be interesting to see if the leaders pit here or not, just to get a little bit of fuel.
Just guessing, I'd say they're pretty much going to be forced to here. I think they were probably 20 laps early on Sadel on their pit stop, so they should be coming in. You would think. Could be wrong though.
It's possible to save 15% of fuel, but I don't know if they can do that.
But the way the two's been running, they may just come in together even if they think it's questionable. not take the chance and just work their way back up like they did, because we've seen them do it before, and I'm sure they can do it again if they really want to and have a clean run.
They just burst past Leanne, never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. That's quite strange.
I think that the leaders are contesting who was actually in the lead as the caution came out, because Solfrank was on a run as the caution came out, and Weng was just ahead when he timed out. I think Hutchins will be given this, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I thought it was Solfrank, but you're probably right there. They are certainly a little dumbfounded right now. They're letting the pace car pull away quite a good distance here.
Yeah, I think they're saying because they're all just riding the clutch at the moment, just keeping the revs down to minimum. But so they're obviously very, very unsure about their fuel loads.
Leanne doesn't seem to be near as concerned with fuel as the other two, Hutchinson and Sanger. She's riding around in 5th gear while the others are running around in 6th with the clutch in a little bit here and there. So she may be good on fuel. There's no way of telling, but that's a good indication. I didn't think she had pitted early enough to make it, but she might have. I think the drivers might be becoming a little bit confused here in the sense that the pit lane hasn't opened yet. I'm sure it will this time by, but it has been a little bit of a delay up there it opens.
Yeah, and Leanne Solfrank has been given the lead. She was ahead, just about, so you were right there, Nolan. Leanne Solfrank is the race leader.
I just made that assumption on fuel, and it just occurred to me that if Leanne's planning on pitting, there's no need for her to save fuel, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw my guess out there. I think the top 3 will come in and pit right here.
Let's see if you're right. Could be the case.
Well, I missed that completely. None of them came in. Well, hardly anybody at all, for that matter. Engel, Southernton, and then some of the guys in the back are coming in, but I guess they are good on fuel, Phil. You were probably right on that assumption.
If they can save the fuel, I guess they're predicting at least 2 more cautions. It's the only way I see them making it.
I mean, obviously we can't see the numbers, but the math I've done here at the computer would show that it would have to be just so close it makes your skin crawl for these guys, because, I mean, I think they were probably 20 laps in ahead of Sadel, and Sadel still had to carry another extra 5%. But, yeah, I mean, you would expect at least 1 more caution getting down to the nitty-gritty like this, so looks like they're pretty confident that they're going to make it, because otherwise you'd think they'd just take the chance the way they've been running up the field and just, or not take the chance, excuse me, and come in and get the fuel and be safe, but apparently not.
Yep, well, it may be one almighty misjudgment, it may be a stroke of genius. We'll just have to wait and see, because we obviously we're not quite advanced here, that we don't have the numbers or the manpower to note down every pit stop. I mean, that's something we probably could do, but just we haven't done that. So yeah, it's a it's a mystery for everyone as to how it's going to turn out. But I guess that makes it more exciting.
Actually, a little birdie just told me that the fuel for them is actually epically close, and they're actually cutting their engine off while running around safety car trying to save fuel.
Yeah, they are running the clutches, so they obviously, yeah, they think it's close, but how close is it going to be? We got 73 laps to go. How many of them will be cautioned? If there is no caution, it'll be a little over 40 minutes or so of running before we finish this race. So Yeah, this is definitely something to watch out for. This race is far from over. Far from over for any of these guys. And we are about to go green. Solfrank dips the throttle, and away she goes. Gets quite a way ahead of Hutchinson, and Hutchinson quite a way ahead of Sanger as well. That hasn't worked so well for those guys. They're not quite in the draft of each other. I think Hutchinson's just going to fall back slightly to allow Sanger to get in the draft. Yes, he has. There we go. Hutchinson just dropping back, allowing Sanger to take the draft. Leanne Solfrank, she is now quite a long way in the lead, but these two behind her are working against her, so she needs to find some way of winning this race in 72 laps time.
Now, I think if anything, this might come up and bite her in the butt. Or I shouldn't say that term, but this might come up and hurt her a little bit because she's pulled so much. By the time that Hutchinson and Sanger get to her, they're going to have a ton of speed. And this, you know, hopefully she can hang on to it, make it a good race. That's going to be a lot of speed difference, though. Sanger kind of falls back on Hutchinson there, so yeah, he's completely out of the draft now.
They're running 6th gear. Yeah. They're not going down into 5th, and 6th gear is normal draft gear. So when you're by yourself, you're actually losing a ton of time. And basically, they're just trying to save fuel. This whole time, they're saving fuel all the way to the end.
Yeah, I see Sanger's in 6th, but Hutchinson's actually running 4th gear here today, which is, I think that's the same thing Leanne's doing.
RPMs are much, much higher, though.
Oh, yeah, I agree 100%. The only other car I actually see doing that right now is Engel, but there could be a lot of guys in conserve mode.
What's good about this, though, is whoever pit that last time, they can get up there, then they can pull away, and they can make it all the way on fuel.
So here we are, we're looking at Dan Sanger following Mehlinger and Hutchinson in a three-way draft, and you can see Leanne Solfrank falling well back. She is, yeah, she's dropped a lot of speed now. Maybe she's thinking she can't survive by herself, and she needs to get in the draft and get speed that way instead of using all her fuel. So maybe getting in someone else's draft will help save that fuel for her. I'm not sure how effective that is, because I'm not... Oh, we have a safety car. Laprovot has spun again. He's
got some right side
going.
damage, but the tires are, yeah, he's got some right side damage, but the right side tires don't look incredibly hot, so apparently he didn't slide them too hard, but yeah, he could probably just come in, repair if he wanted to, and save the tire change.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a bad race, unfortunately. He's had a number of spins, brought out a couple of cautions thus far. He's sitting, he's a lap down. And there are a lot of cars a lap down in this race, actually. As far as I can tell, the top 10 are on the lead lap, and everyone below the top 10 is not on the lead lap. So Zdenek Gash is the last person on the lead lap. And we have 19 runners still remaining. All but three of our retirements have come from time outs. So just we're just hearing from a source that we're really unsure as to whether Hutchinson and Sanger can make the end of this race with the fuel they have. And when I say unsure, we mean thinking it's unlikely, but it really depends how many more laps of cautions we're going to have in the remaining 66 laps of this race. The more cautions there are, the better for these guys.
About
now Sanger is still using the 6 gears, sticking in the clutch technique to try to save fuel. Hutchinson has actually been running around in third here, so it's obvious they're probably feeling a little bit more confident after this caution, but from what we hear it's at least going to take one more minimum.
Yep, well, Leanne Solfrank will get another chance of taking a restart.
Welcome back, Chris Wilkinson. Had a few internet issues, but you're back and ready to continue the commentary of this 2010 Kyoto 500.
Yes, I am, and I do apologise for all of the TV director malarkey that all just failed a moment ago as I timed out. But Leanne Solfrank now holding 145 kilometers an hour, which is a bit quicker than she should be, down to second gear, and she gets ready to take the green flag. And she can go whenever she wants, and she will choose around about now.
Yep, good restart again. No problems for the people behind her. A little bit too quick coming up to the start, coming up to the cones, but that seems to be okay. So she again is by herself with the 3 guys behind, Mellinger, Hutchinson and Sanger. They're all battling over this second position. Just
We're now on board with...
Solfrank. Apologies, carry on, Chris. Bit of a...
No, you guys something interesting. I was just going to say something that we're on board with Dan Sanger.
Oh, I'm just about to say that Dan Sanger's about to go past Leanne Solfrank. And they're going to go 4 wide, maybe not. Oh, they've gone 3 wide, so Hutchinson goes up the inside, so now we have this 4-way draft going on. So they're all going to try and work together, save their fuel, get away from everyone else. I mean, you'd think that these top 4 are going to be the guys who are going to win this race. But then again, we've said that many races previously, and it's never been the case, or sometimes hasn't been the case. So, really, but you would look right now. You would think these guys are the main contenders if they don't throw it off.
This is actually similar to how it was last year. The last part of the race, there was only 4 cars really. That was the main battle for the lead. These seem to be the 4 cars here.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Seb Hutchinson has actually got away from this group.
Oh, that's been hit! He's kept going. No, he's lost it. No, he's lost it. He just kept it, but he hit the grass and has spun. And that's going to be a caution, surely, as everyone goes past him. Yeah, there we go. And that is pretty much a race over for Dan Sanger, because there's only 62 laps left. And he doesn't have Seb to work with. But I don't know, who knows. But right now, it's looking pretty bad for Dan Sanger. A little bit of contact. I'm not sure who it was with. Someone will probably have to point that out to me, but yeah, a little bit of contact coming through turn 2. Sent him spinning. He slammed on the brakes, just about got back into okay direction, but then while he was on the brakes, he hit the grass and spun, so that was it. And he is down at the last of the cars on the lead lap now in 10th position, but behind everyone. He will start from the back of the train.
I didn't really get a good look at it, but it looked like Sanger got squeezed down on the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, to me it felt like a case of maybe, yeah, him being squeezed, but also not quite managing to, I don't know, stay away from the car ahead. But yeah, it's hard to tell. I'd probably call it a race.
I think if you get turned down on, sorry, I put a quick remark like really stupidly, but
well, this now gives
he was
Sanger
also very optimistic with the move.
Yeah, if he thinks he's low on fuel, which he does, he's coming in the pits, obviously. Yeah, it's a no-brainer at this point. So he's safe on fuel, we can guarantee that. I'll be interested to see if he changes tires. I don't think he will. At least I don't think he should. But he does. He changed all 4. So
Must be afraid of flat
a bit of a
spots.
surprise there. Yeah, he must have been pretty rough.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, I have more stats thanks to Jonathan Palmer. The average speed of the first 200 laps has been 149.0648 miles per hour, with 61 laps to go.
I really and truly do not think Singer's out of this race by any means. I mean, I definitely think it's possible for him to get back up front. All he needs is a couple cautions, and he can get right back up there with Hutchinson. But he does have some lap cars to get around this time, and that's where it always gets a little scary.
Still 10 cars on the lead lap. Anything can happen.
Yeah, we could have a unique finish here. I refuse to use that word anymore today.
I don't want to boast any, but with about 70 laps to go in last year's race, I was in the same exact position as Dan Sanger. He can be aggressive and still make it through this pack. It's actually easier to pass people when alone. Hopefully the start from everyone's pretty good.
Yeah, well, Seb Hutchinson gets away.
Frazier actually made a pass before the start-finish line. Let's see if that gets him a penalty or not.
Yeah, well, now it's turned. It will turn into a three-way battle for the lead now with the lack of Dan Sanger. And Ruben Blauhoff and Orion Antigua also starting to close in on this group, so this could turn five-way.
.57 laps still to run.
Just want to say that Nalinger and Seb are actually in the same vent channel. Sol Frank is, of course, in her own team channel.
Okay, so that means they possibly can work together, make a plan of some sort to get rid of Sol Frank.
Sanger's in a really rough position here. He's kind of all by himself right now, and that's the one thing he didn't want from the position he was in, was to get by himself. But
I think one thing that every driver in this should do is they should make each key on their keyboard a separate bind to a separate driver in this field, so then if they want to work with them they can just talk to them straight away no matter what channel they're in, and privately as well. That would be pretty good, but a bit complicated. And Blauhoff's giving Mellinger a big bump draft, and Antigua goes by both of them in third place.
Yep, so this has now turned into a five-way battle for this lead. Or a four.
It has indeed.
Blahov gets left behind.
Yeah, Blahov gave the bump draft, but then got left behind. Yeah, indeed. But I think he will catch these guys very soon. Anyway, I think he's just about got the speed as the other guys to get caught.
Or he runs high. He's gonna lose this. No, he's lost it. He's out.
Yeah, out of this particular draft at the moment. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly
Mellinger's-
there, was
I think it's safer to be out right now.
Yeah, Mellinger was the guy who got the bump draft, and he just set his personal best lap ever on this track, so that bump draft really helped. Yeah, it's looking less organised, you might say, at the front four. They're not quite getting any kind of specific pattern going on. Other than the fact that, yeah, well, momentarily anyway.
Thought they were. And did a good job there.
But yeah, they definitely look unorganized, but they're
Boy, lost
really,
it, I
really
think.
clean with each other.
Yeah, this has turned it back into a three-way battle, it would seem. Ori and TK just about lost the drafts during that. Wasn't able to stay near them. But he's obviously he's fine with his fuel because he's shifting into fourth gear to get extra speed and extra drive coming out of turn 2. So he's obviously fine with his fuel.
Oh, and Hutchison squeezing between Mellinger and Saltfrank there.
It's not the first time he's done that.
No, he's had a very... he's one of the drivers who's been taking a lot of the risks in this race, one of the most exciting drivers to watch, but also he's had two fairly large crashes, so he needs to just... I don't know, well, it's a bit late now to turn to cool off, because this is the way he's been driving all along, and he's looking... well, he's exciting, that's for sure. He's a bit like Kenneth O'Keefe, I guess we could make that comparison. Speaking of which, where is Kenneth O'Keefe?
I think he's actually racing his car today.
I figured so.
Well, I never.
Real life racing over the Kyoto 500?
Nah.
Oh my god! I think everyone just about saw that one. Mellinger and Solfrank getting a little bit too close for comfort there, coming through turn 2! And Mellinger! Christ! Crikey even, sorry. Just really close to Hutchison as well. Apologies for my blasphemy there.
Tire's a little hot. What's gonna happen here?
Small update on Sanger. He's got help now and he's coming up the field. He's still running 9th, but he is definitely catching 8th and 7th pretty quick.
Oh, another very, very close call in the lead.
Could we be seeing more from Sanger maybe then? If he's starting to get some help, maybe he could get to the front. It's going to take quite a while, and it won't be till the very end if we know if he's succeeded or not.
Hey, he's going to have to demand a caution, you would think, but
yeah.
We've seen crazier things happen in this race. With the way the front runners are running right now, who knows how much longer this green flag run will go.
Yeah, but don't mention it. Oh, and Travis. Has Travis lost the draft? No.
Well, he had for a moment, but I think Hutchinson just ran a little wide, and in fact, it looks like Solfrank has momentarily taken the lead back. Now, because you said that Hutchinson and Mellinger are in the same channel as each other, so maybe Hutchinson dropped back to give the draft back to Mellinger. That would make sense, because now they'll back win it again.
Yeah, well, it was Seb running hard there that did save Travis Mellinger, and to be honest, that's all we're really going to ever find out about that incident. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility that Seb was saying, I'll come back. Obviously in a Welsh accent, but I'll come back and help you.
Dan Sanger has help, but it's not the most organized help, and it's very dangerous help. Like I just said, they made contact.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, he goes right up to the wall in 3 and 4.
Yeah, we're now watching this battle because it looked really quite heated and dangerous for Sanger. Because he found himself in the situation earlier in the race, battling with a bunch of cars who weren't quite sure what they were going to do next, and he ended up spinning. And then spun again later.
Same group of cars.
Yeah, same. There are a few of the same people here. Yeah.
Yeah, the funny thing about this battle is that himself and Kagash are the only two on the lead.
Oh, there it is.
Look, there's a crash.
Unfortunately, TV director crashed.
Sanger and
was
Sutton just
involved.
got
He
together.
stopped.
Sutton is
Those
backwards
guys are
on
okay.
the apron.
Yeah, we've had a technical problem here in that I don't think you guys will have seen that crash in the broadcast. Apologies for that. The TV director has crashed.
Be really interesting to see what Sanger does here at the pits.
Okay, you guys may have seen the crash then. I may have just anyway, technical issues, but it's all good now. So, Dan Sanger once again getting involved in an incident in trying to get caught up to the back of the leaders, and or even anywhere near the front of the top 10. But he's heading into the pit lane.
It's got just a slight bit of damage, nothing that would be a big concern. I think he'll just change tires. No, he went ahead and repaired. I guess he has nothing to lose at this point on the time, but I figured he would try to stay in front of those lap-down cars. But he'd rather have a fresh car and a fresh set of tires.
Lap 228 of the 2010 Kyoto 500. Seb Hutchinson leads the race for Sonic Realms. Second position is Leanne Solfrank for Epic Racing. And in third is Mellinger, Travis Mellinger, and fourth is Orientica.
Yep, the top 3 drivers are all rookies. No, the top 3 have never competed in a Kyoto 500 before. In fact, the only people in the top 8 to have not competed in a 500 before is Kagash and Orientica. They're the only 2 in the top 8 positions that have already competed in a 500. Sorry, as Tormala takes to the apron trying to unload his tyres during the safety car period. Not particularly wise.
So we have 40 laps to go. The amount of caution is just going up slightly as we head towards the end of the race. People getting a bit more desperate to get further up the field because time is running out. We said earlier there was loads of laps to go. Now, really, we've got to the point where there aren't that many, and we've only got maybe 20 or so minutes of racing to go, and that'll fly by. That'll fly by if we don't have no more cautions.
Yes, it will, and this is the view up from the back of Timo Hanian's car as he pulls away from the rest of the field as the 1 to go board comes out. So then as the race restarts, there will be 40 laps left for Seb Hutchinson, Leanne Solfrank and the rest of the competitors to try and take the really big victory that is the Kyoto 500. But as we tootle around with Seb Hutchinson about to get things underway once more. Yeah.
So how's this restart going to go then, Seb? Don't think he's taken a restart from the front before, but he's gone early. There we go. Why is everyone else... Solfrank just completely struck... What's she doing? Solfrank was very late to react there. And everyone got held up and yeah, we're going to have to obviously wave that restart off because Solfrank completely misjudged that and didn't accelerate quick enough.
Almost surprised there wasn't a crash there.
Yeah, I think everyone behind was just patient. They must have seen what happened. They just didn't try and do anything rash, and the start's been waved off. We're going to try it again this time around.
Did Seb go before the cones?
It felt like he did. It felt like he may have gone before or at the cones, at the very least. But he was.
I think that's what Leanne probably thought that he did, and she just wasn't going to go and hoping they'd wave off the restart.
Yeah, you might be right there actually, because yeah, sure. I mean, she would have seen him taking off. So let's try again, and this time he's taken off, and she's gone behind him, and it's all good this time.
He did the exact same thing, but she was ready.
Yes, it is. Oriantica drops back a bit further than you probably would have hoped.
So we've got Seb Hutchinson and Leanne Solfrank, the two cars who have the lead here. They seem to have broken away from everyone else. Melling and Blauhoff just don't quite have the speed at the moment, but they are working together. The Blauhoff driving for Speedo Racing and Mellinger for Something Awful. That's the name of the team.
Yep, and the Leanne Solfrank saving fuel now really heavily, lifting up the throttle when she's in Hutchinson's draft there.
Yeah, I mean, if she's still saving fuel despite the elevated amount of cautions we've had in the last 50-60 laps, then there is a definite problem there, surely. Although she's still driving in 5th gear though, so it can't be that bad.
She was driving on 4th gear alone, so that technically I think is her draft gear.
I haven't seen her saving anything under caution that was real heavily either, so.
Whoa! Whoa! I really hate lag. Because it makes me look like an idiot.
Sounds like someone kicked you in the face. But okay, a bit of lag. Yeah, as I said earlier, lag is one of the biggest problems for us commentators here on the 500 because stuff appears to happen. People appear to fly off into the air and crash, but then it all resets itself and everything's fine. And yeah, we end up looking pretty stupid.
Yes, we do, by doing things like that. So yeah, this restart seems to be the story of pairs yet again. Pair of Leanne Solfrank and Seb Hutchinson. Pair behind of Meerlinger and Blauhoff. A pair behind of Antique, well no, Antique on his own, and then 3 behind with Domingo being held up by Raddy Dug and Claudius Gasunas, who are both a lap down. And then we have a massive chain of cars: Kagash, Lamoth, Laprivod. Several of these are lap down as well. Limbs Chevy in there as well, in the top 8. So there's a lot of people in really strange places right now.
Travis Maylinger has like the best tires in the world right now.
Yeah, they're looking at a good temperature and a good thickness, so yeah, it's obviously helping him right now. But he's still in 3rd/4th position, drafting with Blauhoff. We have to check on the gap each lap to see if the gap between those guys and the leaders is going up or down. Blauhoff went down on the apron that time around. That's not going to help anyone.
Meanwhile, we've got a big gaggle here in the trailing group with Limbs Chevy. Oh, Limbs Chevy hits the apron. He somehow holds onto the car, but he makes contact with Kagash, and that's a big crash. Tomlin gets involved as well. Oh, Donnelly's over the grass.
Oh, Dan Sanger squeezed right through there.
Oh, Sutton goes flying across the grass.
Oh.
Oh, no, he
just got in. Yeah, Fraser just got into a stopped car and it hit real hard. He's going to have massive damage, you would think. Oh yeah, tons on the left rear.
Yeah, that as the accident happened, a lot of people slowed down. I think Donnelly didn't quite slow down quick enough and had to go across the grass, and then Fraser, who I don't know, the accident happened 10 seconds previous, and he still ended up crashing hard into the cars that had crashed. That's not cool. That's not cool at all, especially when you know there's a yellow flag, caution, and whatever. There's no reason to be driving flat out and so on.
Look like the LFS kart light race here.
Yeah, overall the reactions from the drivers were quite good. They just about managed to slow down and were careful enough, but yeah, Fraser didn't do such a good job there, I'm afraid.
Well then, Leanne Solfrank was in the lead at the outcome of the safety car period, so she will take the in fact, meanwhile, Raymond Blauhoff and Travis Maylinger are contesting a position, 3rd position as a matter of fact. And if Travis doesn't get that, it would have been a massive benefit to Travis if he could get in front of Raymond Blauhoff right now. He would be right on the back of his teammate Seb Hutchinson, and well, I say his teammate, his very good friend at the moment, Seb Hutchinson, and everything probably would have gone a lot smoother for him, but that's not going to happen today.
.30 laps to go. 2010 Kyoto 500. Leanne Solfrank is the leader. 2nd is Seb Hutchinson. 3rd is Raymond Blauhoff, and 4th is Travis Mellinger, and 5th is Orientica. That's your top 5 as we head into the final caution lap of this. Oh, I've lost count of the cautions, but there's been in the last few laps there's been quite a few cautions. The start of the race was fantastic, and overall we've had a much cleaner race than the 2009 Kyoto 500.
Yeah, 2009 one was actually pretty clean at the end. Besides the last lap. Controversial ending.
Yeah, that was a crazy last lap. Recchioni was the one in 3rd position going for the lead, and he ended up on the sideways against the wall, and without the race ended up 4th.
But anyway, here we go. Leanne Solfrank, the only person to have only pitted once in this race. She will take the restart yet again, and she's past the cone. She can go when she wants.
Oh, the start's been
Oh.
waved off. She wasn't quick enough. She was too unpredictable, it would seem.
No. Apparently there was an
there
incident
was a-
further back or something in my ear.
Yeah, that
It
was
looked like...
between Sutton and, I'm not quite sure who else that was, but yeah, Sutton got a little bit of contact and lost some positions, and Sanger went past, and Sanger had to check up to let Sutton back by. And by the time that was done, it would have been way too late.
It's quite funny, really. I've never seen so many waved off starts before. I think that... I don't think it means the driving quality's gone down under cautions. I think it means that the adminning is a lot more strict under caution, meaning that if it isn't all kosher, they're going to make you do it again to make sure it's all fair for everyone.
That was my assumption as
How
well.
about if it's halal?
Whatever your choice, Wilco, whatever your choice. Halal, kosher. So, we're going to go again. Sol Frank still in the lead. She's been... I think okay. When she's starting from the front at restart, she seems to be okay. So let's see what she does this time. And hasn't accelerated yet. Away she goes.
Good restart from Hutchinson there, but it's caught Raymond Blauhoff a little off guard there.
Yeah, Blauhoff fell away big style, and it's Orientica and Travis Mellinger who's going to put him under pressure now.
Meanwhile, two major gaggles here as Mellinger nearly turning down on Raymond Blauhoff. Orientica in this as well. Oh, and Jan Lamrevot in the group behind as well, squeezing his teammate into the pit wall.
Lamrevot's had a fun old race. He's had several spins and is continuing on his adventurous form there, squeezing his teammate into the wall as he falls back into 13th. In fact, he's actually he's a lap down on the leaders in 13th position. But with the cars ahead of him, they're on the same lap as him. Or Engel isn't actually. Engel is a lap ahead. The other orange.
Engel's been quietly there the whole time. Quietly in the top 7 the whole race.
Yeah, I've barely mentioned him for the whole race. I can only remember really saying his name once or twice. He's really been very quiet, but that's obviously a good thing. He hasn't caused any problems, and it's just been there or thereabouts. And he's on for a good top 10 finish. And up at the front, Ish, Antica, and Mellinger and Blauhoff are 3 wide. A bit aggressive though. I think Mellinger ended up in the wall slightly, but they're all still going in this 3-way battle for third.
We've talked about him all race long, and just figured I'd update that Sanger has finally worked his way back up to 7th. Obviously going to have another caution to ever get in contention to win this race, but he's moving up the field.
Yeah, you wouldn't count him out at all. He is nearly up to the... He's got a few more, I think 5 more lapped cars to get past before he actually is directly behind the leaders.
Making massive contact there with Orientica. Orientica just totally shut his line there. And Mellinger had nowhere to go but right up the back of Orientica, and a bit of damage caused there to Orientica's car, mainly cosmetic, but not helping their progress in trying to win this race. Orientica, was that it? Orientica scraping the wall there on the back straight?
I didn't see that, maybe I was not looking.
Dominic Engel looks like he's catching the back of that pack now.
Yeah, he has to get past a couple of lapped cars, but once he does, he'll be directly behind the 3rd place battle. Currently he's behind Randy Young.
Yeah, he's got help from Randy in drafting, trying to get back up there.
and hopefully some help from his teammate as well, although you wouldn't have thought so during the squeezing that happened a couple of laps back.
Yeah, Yan seems to be hurting him more than helping him.
Oh, crashed in the back, Sutton's around hard. Yeah, Martin and Sutton got into each other, and Sutton took a big shunt in the wall.
Yep, Sutton's car is pretty much wrecked. He can't steer it properly, he's going to have to pit.
His clutch is almost completely destroyed. He's actually going up the banking of the track, so he doesn't have to use the clutch as much, I would think.
So this is what Dan Sanger wanted. We also Engel as well. I mean, the caution is here, but they still have 5 lapped cars to get past in order to actually get up to the rear of the leaders. But this will help them on their way because they'll be much closer to the back of the other 3 lapped cars. Those lapped cars being, let me tell you, I think it's Lamont and Gasunas and Laprovot and Young, and that's it. So it's 4 cars they have to get past.
Yep, in other news, Jonathan Palmer there just giving a little pep talk to the guys, saying, I know it's crunch time now, 20 laps to go as we cross the line here, but you have got to keep leaving room.
Yeah, it's like the longest 20 laps of the race.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it green from now until then, because that'll make for a very nice finish indeed. It's all building up to be a really thrilling end, as it always is. I don't think we've seen a boring major oval race. Well, I've never commentated on one, that's for sure. Orientica is the only driver in the field going through this caution in first gear, so he obviously has fuel to burn, which is what he's doing under the safety car.
Yep, in the news we will go 1 to go as we cross the line, and Seb Hutchinson will get the opportunity to once again take a safety car restart.
Sutton got a drive-through penalty. I think that was from a pit stop, speeding in the pit lane.
That was from
Was it
contact with Steve Martin.
Car 17 is being shouted at via text for not giving enough room, along with car 95, which is Gasunas, just behind him. These guys are on different laps. They're both laps down, but they're on different laps to each other.
This restart here is going to be pretty important for Dan Sanger, at least.
Yeah, I think Dan Sanger is it seems to be our favourite driver of the day, because he just seems to get near to having massive success and then ends up falling away again. So let's see what he can do. This could be his last chance, really, as we head on to the restart. Kyoto 250, lap 252, 18 laps to go. Seb Hutchinson leads. Restart coming up. And he tricks him a little bit by going high as he starts the restart, and we're having that one waved off. Yeah, at the back there were 2 cars. No, I'm not sure why that's been. Could it be the fact that the 2 FM cars at the back were too far away, or what? We'll have to find out. Do we have any word on why that's the case?
R17 gets another warning. Not quite sure what that was for.
Yeah.
I think it's just him slowing up during safety car period, just as they're coming up. People just lagging back and not keeping it formatting, and I can hear Jonathan Palmer in my voice. He is definitely trying to keep these drivers on the path to get us 20 more laps or so, just a bit less, of green flag running. And Seb Hutchinson now has the second attempt to get this race restarted. And he goes... That was better than last time, I think.
Yeah, did you see the way they all went high to follow him, and they still fell away from him? It was interesting.
That was pretty pointless there.
I think he was trying to use the downhill slope of the final corner to give him a boost, but everyone copied him. But actually he managed to get away, but there are 3 cars behind him. Antika, Solfrank, and Mellinger, and Blauhoff make that 4. It was still 4-way drafting, but they need to get organised if they're going to catch him. 16 laps to go.
Dan Sanger didn't get the best of starts.
No, he certainly did not. He's got some decent drafting partners here, but it...
Oh, and Zenek Agesh gets a tragic damage causing an avoidable incident with the 41 car. That's Limbs Chevy.
Blauhoff gives Mellinger a little tap as he goes past. Accidental, it would seem. And they've all caught back up to the lead. Hutchinson, it's a 4-way, 5-way battle for the lead now. This is a thriller. This really is.
Oh, big wreck, big wreck, big wreck.
Lamoth's over!
Oh, and that's
wow.
Wow, Lamoth is like,
is
wow.
barrel rolling.
Do a barrel roll. He ends up on his roof and he is out of the race. Latham Lamoth got several warnings under the pace car for not giving room, and now he is most certainly out of this race. But in spectacular fashion, he did about 10 or 12 rolls there.
Sanger was actually between Engel and Nathan as Nathan was flipping. That was pretty cool to watch.
He escapes unscathed for Dan Sanger, still quite a long way behind the leaders. That gives Blauhoff the lead. Blauhoff was leading as that incident unfolded. So we're under caution again. Yeah, as we progressed through the... pretty much after lap 200 we've had cautions pretty often. And this race is going to be... how long is it going to be? It could be up to the... let's say 3 hour
mark
10.
now.
Yeah, it is. It's gone over 3... I think it's about 3 hours 5 or 10 minutes so far, so we're going to end up with a 3 hours 15 or 20 minutes race, which is odd because that's only a little bit faster than the previous 2 races, but I guess these large amount of cautions towards the end of the race has contributed to that. But there's still a chance of it being one of the fastest races. Let me check.
I think the problem with last season was, I think the problem with last year was we had a lot more cautions, but we actually did have a couple long runs, whereas this is a medium length run caution, medium length run caution.
Last year's race was 3 hours 22 minutes, and the year before was 3 hours 30 or 3 hours 29 minutes. So.
Ooh, I think someone's timing out.
And I think somebody's phone's ringing. Oh, yeah, lap about time's out.
He was over a lap down, but that doesn't make it any less unfortunate for him. He obviously wanted to finish this race, no matter what position he was in. Safety car coming in this lap, but probably going to have another wave off for some reason. But hopefully not, as Blauhoff controls the field. Yeah, you can reach out and touch it almost.
And he's only got 2-lap cars in front of him, so it's time to do work.
Yeah, Randy Young as soon as. Maybe they'll concede, maybe they won't, who knows. We're about to go for the restart. Blauhoff controls the field, up to the cones. And he's still
Is it going to be
waiting.
early or is it going to be late? Nobody's gone late yet, I have noticed. Nobody has gone particularly late. He goes now though, and that's a good restart.
I think they all lose their nerve about halfway around turn 4. They just get scared and dump on the throttle. Yeah. But Blauhoff managed to get a good start. It's a 3-way for the lead though, as it has been for quite some time. Antiki just fell away there from the restart, so bad restart for him.
Yep,
In fact,
he's
he's
a penalty.
yeah, that's for the incident earlier. Oh no, that's for the earlier incident. Yeah, avoidable incident with car 67. Steve Martin, that would be.
Oh, and Solfrank and Blauhoff come together, and Blauhoff somehow survives. But
Yeah, they keep doing that. Yeah, if they keep doing that, they're going to hand this to Hutchinson, because another big contact will put him so far ahead it'll be hard to catch him, but they'll try to be a bit more careful next time. As Blauhoff comes up to the finish line, or the start-finish line, it will be 10 laps to go in the 2010 Kyoto 500.
Yes, there are now it's a 3-way battle for the lead. Blauhoff, Sebastian Hutchinson, and Liam Solfrank.
These guys have been the people up at the front of the field for the last maybe third of the race or so. They've been up there. Blauhoff less so. He was sort of mid top 10, but wasn't really up at the front until the last 20 or 30 laps. But they're all in the chance of winning. Mellinger and Antica are drafting with each other, but just not finding the pace yet. We could be handing it to these three up ahead. But if they keep drafting uncooperatively at the front, they will lose time. It's really... Oh! That was a flipped car! Was that Fraser or Sutton flipped out, coming out the pits? It was Sutton. He hit the wall as he came out the pits, lost control and flipped over. He's still on his wheels, and there's been no caution because he's off the circuit. As we continue to watch the race at the front.
Yeah, well, I'm fairly sure this is actually going to end up leading. And he's going to end up on the race at 9. There we go.
Oh,
that
no.
comes out.
We're going to end up with maybe a 2 or 3 lap sprint to the line now from this.
Yes, we are.
Oh my lord. This has really blown things wide open. Sutton, yeah, he's fun coming out the pit lane from his drive-through penalty. Oops, he's just got... People weren't quite sure where he was, but there he is, on the inside of turn 2. He's driving slowly, but yeah, Sutton uses a head mouse to control his car. It's unconventional setup, but that's what he uses because of his physical requirements in order to do so, and he does quite well with it. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to keep control of the car coming out of the pit lane.
Leanne Solfrank is burning field out.
Yep, she's obviously sure she can make it, and everyone is sure that they can make it. So what's the story with green-white checkers in this race? How does it go?
I don't think there is any.
None.
There we go, simple as that. So basically this race can finish under caution, but it's not going to under this particular caution. But if there was a caution on the last couple of laps, that will be it.
Seb's also burning fuel.
Your top 5: Leanne Solfrank, Seb Hutchinson, Raymond Blauhoff, Orientica, Travis Mellinger. And Dan Sanger is up there in P6, but he's still behind those two lapped cars and wasn't able to get past them during the last green flag run.
We will have 5 laps to go when we cross the line to start this race. But what will be the final time.
So if there is another caution, that's race over, is it?
Definitely.
Right. We'll bear that in mind. So now it's all up to these guys. Can they keep it clean for the next 5 laps? In the past they have. In previous races, it's even when there's been a quick sprint to the line, they've never actually brought out a yellow flag until the last lap. And the race is always finished under green, which is always good. But what's going to happen this time? Who knows? Oh, Antique barging through the rear because Solfrank is just going quite late. She was probably one of the latest starters so far today. Perfectly entitled to do so. But Hutchinson and Hutchinson have got away. And Blauhoff and Antique will find it very difficult to catch these guys in the next 5 laps if those two ahead manage to draft away. Let's find out. This really is touch and go. Has Antica possibly not been able to get a good enough jump? Blauhoff is trying to help them get back to the rear of the 2 leaders. We are Hutchinson and Solfrank. Who is going to take this win? It's absolutely up in the air. We have no idea. I mean, you say, Blauhoff gets all sideways. Yeah, I think he might have put himself out of this, but he's still in the
he's in the draft.
Yeah, but are they going to still be able to... Bang!
Oh, bit of contact.
Oh, he hits him! Yes!
Oh,
Can't do that. It's over.
And
it's all over. Solfrank was ahead! Solfrank was ahead! Yeah, she got it. Leanne, unconfirmed.
We may have time
unconfirmed.
here. We may have time here.
But, well, didn't Jonathan Palmer specifically say the next yellow would mean that's race over? But as it stands, Leanne, we believe, was ahead as the yellow flag came out.
The admin team are checking it as we speak, so it's all just a waiting game now.
So
Jonathan Palmer, our race director, says that he might be able to get this. This could be.
Should be time.
I really hope so. That'll be a bit of an anticlimax to finish under yellow.
I wouldn't even put the safety car on the track. I just have him line up right now.
Yeah, well, it's going to end up... The safety car's going to go around, it's going to pull off on lap 269, and we're going to start the race with 1 lap to go.
2 laps to go.
So he's going to pull off... No, it'll be 1 lap to go by the time the safety cars come in.
Yeah, they're going to start with 1 lap to go.
Yeah.
So this here is going to be the most vital restart we have ever had.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate for Solfrank because they were all under the impression that the next yellow would be the end of the race, so she probably would have been celebrating knowing that she was ahead, but a change of heart from the admin team means that actually we're going to end up with 1 lap sprint to the line, and she could lose everything here. She really could.
But she could gain extra.
She needs an awesome start right here.
Yeah.
In other news, I'm hearing in my ear as well that if there is any contact at all and there's want of a caution during this final lap, then it will be... there will be no race at the line. That is it. The field will be frozen as soon as the caution comes out in the last lap. Timo Hinian pulls away. We will go at the end of the next lap for the final lap of the Kyoto 500, pardon me. Who's going to get it?
Yeah, we've been talking about restarts all day. Restarts have been the main talking point, just because they've been slightly different this year, just more strict and more interesting to watch. So Solfrank and Hutchinson have both had stints up at the head of the field and doing restarts. Which one will have earned the most? I mean, it's all down to Solfrank. He decides when to set going, and everyone else behind her has to follow. So immediately she has an advantage. And yeah, so she really does have the choice of when to do it. Will she crack under the pressure? Will Hutchinson take advantage? What about Blauhoff and Antica? Sanger is probably out of this. Oh no, he's not actually. No, he's right there, but who knows? Right,
let's see where the goes.
Good jump, but is
That's
it
not
enough?
good enough.
No.
Wow, draft up.
Yep, Suchinson is drafted. I think it's going to be between these two. Unless Blauhoff... Yep, he's in it. Okay, so we have a three-way battle for the lead now. Can Blauhoff pull a surprise win? Solfrank falls to third. She's going to have to work really hard to get back into the lead now. She's got 2 corners left to do it. Hutchinson leads. Blauhoff lifts off the throttle ever so slightly to get up the inside through turn 2. Hutchinson stays ahead. Leo Solfrank stays in third position. Hutchinson pulls down to the bottom of the track. He's weaving slightly. Unable to give anyone the draft. Blauhoff couldn't get the draft. Solfrank has the draft in Blauhoff. Solfrank's going up the inside. Solfrank has it. No!
Hutchinson
Contact!
Hutchinson comes back down!
It's two-way! Who's going to get it?
They're going around the outside! It's Hutchinson's! It's Seb Hutchinson! Hutchinson comes into the line, he wins! He wins the Kyoto 500!
Hutchinson, Sebastian Hutchinson wins the Kyoto 500, second. I think that was Raymond Blauhoff. Yes, and Solfrank got third after all that. What a finish! 3-way finish. Apologies if any of you went deaf from that, but that was an amazing finish. A 1-lap sprint to the line. Solfrank started it in the lead, ended it in third place. Hero to maybe not 0, but less than she would have wanted, unfortunately. Seb Hutchinson becomes the third different winner of the 3 runnings of the Kyoto 500. Seb Hutchinson from Wales, driving for Sonic Realms Racing. Raymond Blauhoff in second, Speedo Racing.
I think that's tradition. No one starts up front and wins.
Yeah, I don't have the grid here in front of me, but yeah, he was